talk a little bit about working your way around the studio. I know you have that condition that Jugg Mugg was talking about. How hard was it for you to make those beats earlier in the stages?
You know, like with anything, you know, there's a level of difficulty, and you know, human beings are very adaptive. So, of course, you know, where there's a will, there's a way. You know, it was just a matter of learning different steps and committing to memory a lot of things. So it was kind of like that singing in the rain. It was kind of weird, but he was like, "Yeah, I know where the place is. I'm gonna take 22 steps this way, across the street." I don't know if you remember that movie, but it
Right.
was committed. You know, he
Yeah, that's what memory
put it
strong.
all down to how many steps it took to get to this certain place. But you know, that's basically what it was like learning how to make beats. You know, learning different pieces of equipment and just committing the navigation to memory. You know, of course, now everything now is so accessible. My computer talks, the keyboards and everything speaks now. So it's way different. And I think that's why I've kind of excelled a little bit, because I was still limited and enabled, or well, I'm gonna say inhibited, what's the word I'm saying? Prohibited, you know, was different back then because it was a lot of functions. I was just scratching the surfaces of a lot of the equipment that I was using, but now I'm able to really dig deep because navigation is more accessible.
And for the record, when he was scratching the surface, it was still dope.
Yeah,
Right. No
Super
doubt.
dope.
I
No
appreciate
doubt. So Jugg Mugg, you said once you heard him and once you seen him, you never left.
I never left.
Talk a little bit about the early creative process between you three.
Like I said, it started, me and Devin was rapping over instrumentals. Devin went to a talent show and, met Rob at the talent show. They ended up leaving the talent show, wouldn't even worry about the results of who won.
it.
Walked
Yep.
into his house, because TSU Third Ward right there together where Rob lived at. And, showing Devin, his production setup and showing him how he moved. And Devin was telling me about it. Like I said, I didn't take it serious at first.
Right.
I, I was like, man, no blind guy making no beats, And then he told me again. And then I kind of zoomed in on it and went over there. And I never left as in the creative process. This is where I'm going to be forever when it comes to making music.
Yeah, it was, yeah, right off the top, man. We just kicked it in. How long has it been now, man? This is like, wow.
What you mean? How long has it been?
30,
Well, we got to count past the anniversary. This is our what anniversary?
30th.
30th. So
yeah.
it's been 30 years since we dropped the record, Rob.
But we was actually down before that.
Right.
Yeah.
So what you say, 35?
Yeah, because it was like, had to be like 88, 89. You say?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Crazy.
No
And
Now,
doubt. Talk a little bit about the early conversations you guys were having as far as the direction you wanted the group to go.
well, it was just fun at first. It was just kind of like getting to know each other and just really kicking it and, becoming brothers, So that probably came maybe a few years later. We, kind of knew we had something, but it got serious, maybe like a few years into kind of hanging out and freestyling, and we kind of just knew the style. Dev and Jugg had a style like no other. It was real fun and tipish and just
the lighter side of the hood, not taking stuff so serious. We
yeah,
was always naturally like
that was definitely the direction from the jump.
yeah.
It just is a matter of us getting serious. Let's go ahead and pursue being out. Dev had that on his mind from jump, though.
Yeah. Devin had all this Devin was destined and pre-programmed to what he wanted to do.
Minded from the very beginning. Yeah.
Right. Talk a little bit about the demo process. Did you guys shop a demo to several labels or just one label only?
Really, just one. We had an idea. We were going to shop it to other labels, but the first offer came in. It was at the, at home. We were close. This is a label we can actually touch and talk to, and it just felt right at the time. We was ready, you know. We was eager, young,
Yeah,
and just
we made a little demo packet
yeah. We
back
made
in the day.
several to send out, but after we sent it out to the first offer, and it was
It was
done.
over.
We got it on the first attempt. It was a slam dunk.
Mr. J Prince pulled up in the driveway, and
Yeah,
it was a wrap.
yeah,
Wow. You had DJ Screw on that demo as well, right?
Oh yeah. You
yep.
want to say that? I'll tell you a little bit about that, then, Rob. You can jump in.
A little bit too. Go ahead.
Yeah, me and Dev and Rob, DJ Screw was actually on our demo tape. That was the DJ.
Yeah, scratching, cut.
He was the one used to come to the house. I don't know if we wasn't taking it serious, but he was the one like come knocking on the door window like, "Hey, come on, y'all, get up. We finna go make this thing or make this demo." And
Yep.
yeah, and
Yeah. You could tell he was ready.
yeah, he actually pushed us to go ahead and make that demo, Rob. Go ahead.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. He pulled up with turntables. You know, them techniques came in cases. Yeah, he was ready. That was a dope experience. That was a dope.
R.I.P. Mr. Earl Davis.
That's right.
No doubt. So where did your demo land, and how did it end up in Jay Prince's hands?
Your partner, Rob.
Yeah. So at the time, I was attending a Prairie View A&M in Prairie View, and of course, it's in college. You know, you meet a lot of people, make a lot of connections. So I had a friend of mine that I met who was an inspiring artist too. A guy named Damien. I forget his last name. They had a group called No Dose, and DJ Def Blaster, local DJ here that was big on the radio. He was his DJ. So through him, it got past the Def Jam Blaster to Crazy C, which is another producer DJ legend.
Crazy C, my man.
And he passed it along. So it went through a couple of hands, but ultimately, like I said, it went through my friend Damien, RIP, and Def Jam Blast, Crazy C to Lil J. So it was real quick too. It didn't take long.
Yeah, amazingly quick.
Happened within maybe 2 weeks.
Yeah, Jay was in the driveway. I said, "Man, that's a Lexus in our drive. Who is that?"
Yeah.
That's Jay Prince.
Yeah.
You remember the conversation Jay Prince had? What was it about you guys that caught his interest?
You probably remember more. I wasn't country. I was a little kid, wide-eyed and bushy then, man. I was green then.
Well,
Rob and Debbie could tell you way better about that.
He really liked it because it was very unique. It was something different that he didn't have on the label. It was the exact opposite of everything he had going. And what I heard that the demo tape was floating around, and a lot of the artists like Face and the other artists on the label loved it. So it kind of got passed around. So just from that, just from the response, he knew it was special.
Right. You end up working with Mike Dean, N.O. Joe, DJ Styles in the studio. What are some of the lessons or things you learned from those seasoned vets?
A lot. You know, my style still kind of, is remnants, a combination of a lot of things, and definitely a lot of influence from those guys, particularly N.O. Joe and Mike Dean, and just learning the process. That was our first time even being in a studio, or at least a official professional studio anyway. I've been in studios, but not quite like that. Digital services.
Digital service.
Man, I'm not even sure if that even still is, but they had the SSL board. I learned some recording tips. It was kind of cool because maybe that's why I felt so high. We were like enthusiastic,
That's when I learned about screen sound. That's before, what is it now, Rob? It was screen sound?
It was analog.
Yeah, analog, then screen sound, and then now it's...
Screen sounds was the section where they put the album together. That was in the back. You remember, it was Digital Services was the name of the studio.
Yeah.
But the Screen Sounds is where they had the computer and they put the album together. But
that program, I'm really talking about the program.
Yeah, program was called Screen Sounds. You're right.
I know it evolved now. What they call it now? I mean,
well, you know, you can do that in Pro Tools now.
Pro Tools. That's what I'm looking for. You know, I'm still learning the technical stuff, journalists.
Screen Sounds, we wasn't doing the recordings. We was doing recordings to tape.
Oh, yeah.
Computer and SSL board. So, yeah.
SSL board. Yes, sir. I remember that.
Yeah, so, you know, I got to learn the process.
I love the 90s, man. I miss the 90s.
Showed me a
You and me both.
Drum kit.
Right.
Will we get to relive the 90s before we die? No. I'm just
hopefully. 80s and 90s.
Well, you know, they'll sample it. They'll sample it. You know, they do that now. Samples.
Yeah. So I guess that's how it's reliving. Yeah.
That is exactly how it is.
Right. Jugg Mugg, talk a little bit about those studio sessions. What do you remember most?
Ooh, all that to me, man, was learning and growing for me to the MC that I am now, bro. Oh my God, them studio sessions a couple of times, you know, I had cold feet. I'm not gonna even lie to you. I remember one time in Chicago, Devin always teased me about this.
Oh, at the concert.
Yeah, Rob, you know what I'm about to say. Hey, man, it was we was on a 2-week promotional tour, Rap A Lot. We in Chicago at the Amphitheater. I don't think it's no longer open. 19,000 people, the biggest crowd. And me, I'm the kind of person how I'm set up spirituality. I could literally back then, now I understand it, but back then I could literally feel the energy of individuals. And that night it was 19,000. It was too much. So we smoking some good in the back, you know, and these butterflies mixed with the good, boy. I got butterflies and nausea. And yeah, David will tell you proudly, I, had to get some things out my chest, to even perform. And I remember looking what broke I actually had stage fright, actually, now I remember. But what broke that, I realized it that night and it was solved that night. Because when it was time for us to go up after the Ghetto Boys, before the Ghetto Boys,
right?
I remember seeing Curtis D, Big Mello, R.I.P.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I saw him behind the curtains. And me, I had that old nervous look, that old beginner greenhorn look. And I remember looking at Big Mello, he was like, pumping me up, like, nigga, go on and rock it. The curtains about to open and everything. Boy, I'm nervous boy, I'm nervous. But still, this is what I signed up for. And I remember asking myself, nigga, you want to be a rapper, huh? Yeah, rap.
Yeah.
So I looked at Big Mello, and then we started singing our little joint rock, smoking that weed.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing a few people in the crowd, lips kind of moving with it, and I saw that, and that like broke my ice instantly. Like,
right.
And I've been eating stages from now on. I love stages now. I damn near dive off that. I love it now, but I just remember that icebreaker.
Yeah, I remember
Chicago in 1994.
Yep.
Rob, talk a little bit about those studio sessions. What do you remember most?
I'm sorry, you mean?
Yes.
Those studio sessions. Man, very smoke filled and fun. I remember spending the night or falling asleep. We just in there. Just really, man, it was real one big party. That album was great. It really got close to Mike and Joe, and of course, like I say, learning a bunch of tips on the way. Got to ask a lot of questions and learn a lot of things. It was really phenomenal. I can't even.
Very learning experience.
Videotaping, or I wish how they do behind the scenes thing. That would have been made for TV, like a mug, because that would have been so crazy to see all. We even had a posse jam on there. We had a bunch of rappers, all our friends there. We was literally having parties every night. That's why our bill was so high. I think like $28,000 on that.
Yeah, our studio bill was ridiculous.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a bit because I heard you guys had the most expensive album on Rap-A-Lot Records. Is that true?
Yeah.
We'll talk about that in a moment.
Facts, big facts, like them youngsters say.
Now, when you guys was recording this album, did you guys get any type of advice from Jay Prince or Scarface, seeing as how this was your debut album?
Advice.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite a few things. It's just a matter of, let me see, just I have something, and I always love this quote, and I take it to heart, and it still stands the test of time. And Jay told me this at the beginning in my bedroom at my mom's house. He said, "This is a game of what you don't know, it will hurt you." And I remember that. I always quote it all the time, and it's a very real, and it meant a lot. And I understand it more so now than ever. Even and it's a great quote, and it wasn't nothing to snuff at. I think at the time it kind of went over my head because Dev and Jugg can tell you, I was kind of bold back then. I said, man, I heard y'all be fucking people, and everybody acting. Whoa, calm down. Where all that coming from? And
Hey, can you believe me and Devin used to have to calm Rob down?
yeah,
Nah.
and I appreciate that, and that is words to live by, and he basically was saying,
And it wasn't like none was bad. It was just us learning.
no, he said, basically he was saying, arm yourself with knowledge.
Yeah. Because what you don't know will hurt you.
What you don't know will hurt you.
True. Facts. Big facts.
And I appreciate that.
Mm.
Words to live by.
Right.
So, and you need to know about anything that you're getting into. So you won't, excuses is loose. So you saying you don't know now is almost like a cop-out, especially with all the information that we're armed with today.
Yeah. It ain't your fault, but it's your problem.
Right. Talk a little bit about some of the tracks on the album, some of your favorites, maybe some behind the scenes that we don't know. Just talk to us a little bit about what you guys were going through. And some
First, I'll say
tracks.
this about favorites. By you asking me what's my favorites, I'm going to go ahead and say this. That's like you, if I got 12 kids, you ask me which one is my favorite kid.
Right.
They
all of your favorites.
They all my babies.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, do I love some more? I can't say that on the record. But yeah, it's favorites that I feel stronger than others, but they all my babies.
Yeah. I really liked For Sure.
I do too. That's one of my babies.
It stood it's standing the test of time.
Yes.
It still holds right now. Right now. The message in that song, the idea, the story, it's right now.
Messing over your For Sure. Trying to get some more. You're gonna end up with no.
Absolutely. So that's crazy. That's that's dope.
Yeah, that's a timeless message.
Yeah, that's a dope one.
Right.
We've had we had some political joints that never even made the album, man. Remember, we was kind of on some stuff earlier, man.
Yeah, we was almost Black Panther rappers at one.
But I think
you remember Black Thing, Rob? Black Thing?
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
It's a black thing. It's everything. Yeah. They didn't make it though. That was all our demo stuff.
I think a lot of stuff really was trying not to just be too serious, man. You can imagine 17, 18, 19, 20, 21-year-olds at that time. It was on our minds.
Right.
Yeah, and we showed that.
Right. Can you talk a little bit?
Hey, we wasn't trying to hit you. We'll rather take a picture and smoke a square with you.
Yeah.
Right. Can you talk a little bit about the decision to put out Can't See It as the first single?
Well, that was Jay's idea. That was the, I never really wanted to let my blind be a thing. Be something secondary that people found out. I never wanted them to be like, you know, thinking it's dope or giving me credit because I am blind. Almost kind of like how on certain shows, okay, when you see the kid go up and perform, even no matter how whack or not as good, you would still get applause. Like, oh, come on, let's get, and that was my mind back then. I always wanted to be on, I wanted any acknowledgement to be because it was good, not because we giving him some credit because he's blind or he's handicapped. Bless his heart. He trying. I never wanted that kind of.
Me and Dale start handy capable.
Yeah, so I wanted it to be like something you find out later, like almost like, man, I heard that dude in the group is blind, but Jay thought that it would be a good marketing to go ahead and just embrace it, which now I appreciate now because I do embrace it. It wasn't that I was ashamed of it or anything like that, but I just didn't want any hindrance on what you thought it is was because I'm being blind.
Right. Exactly.
That was the idea. They thought that would be a good marketing thing off the rip.
He was very adamant about that too, man.
And that's why when he asked me to do a song embracing that, I was very almost aggressive.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, and that's why I wrote it in that tone because I almost kind of cringe when I listen to it now, but I get why I went that way with it, because it was like that's the last thing I need is for you to feel sorry for me,